Now, we are talking about aircraft carriers in the future of China's Navy development. But remember, the Chinese Navy, when it was founded 60 years ago, it consisted just of a few vessels. Now let's take a look at how the Chinese Navy has been growing.
The PLA Navy was founded on April the 23rd, 1949, in the small village in the coastal province of Jiangsu. It consisted of only 9 warships and 17 boats. Generations of Chinese leaders have made it one of the country's priorities to build a strong navy. From 1995 to 1960, the East China Sea Fleet, the South China Sea Fleet, and the North China Sea Fleet were established. From the 1950s to the end of the 1970s, the main role of the Navy was inshore defensive operations. Since the 1980s, the Navy has undergone a strategic transformation to offshore defensive operations. In 1984 and 1999, respectively, Chinese leaders Deng Xiaoping and Jiang Zemin revealed troops representing millions of service people. Since the beginning of the new century, the Navy has improved its capabilities for integrated offshore operations, strategic deterrence, and strategic counterattacks. It has also gradually developed its ability to conduct operation in distant waters and counter non-traditional security threats. Through 6 decades of development, a modern maritime force has taken shape, with both nuclear and conventional means of operations.
And for more insight into the future role of China's Navy, we're joined on the phone by Professor Zhu Feng from Peking University. Good evening, Professor Zhu.
Good evening.
China's Navy has noticeably increased its role on the international stage in terms of foreign exchanges and escorting missions. How do you look at these recent moves?
I think the recent move is very significant because Chinese Navy, despite rather, we say, very defensive and even just quite weaker technically, but I think that China also has a strong responsibility to contribute to the international security and the national defense as well. So that's why I think the recent series of moves just very powerfully, demonstrate how resolved China would like to just contribute to the international security and how cooperative, China's Navy and China's military also could just growing, in the course of, we say, expanding the international exposure as well as enhancing the mutual understanding. So it's a very, I think, meaningful move. Also, we're signaling the future China's growing contribution and expanding cooperation overseas.
Another area which has attracted quite some attention concerning the Chinese Navy has been the South China Sea, where there was some events of trespassing by foreign vessels. How do you think China can effectively defend its sovereignty of the South China Sea?
Well, it's a quite complicated question. I think Chinese governments persistently emphasize the territorial claim over such disputed islands and the territories in the South China Sea. I don't think there is anything which will just shaking the Chinese resolve to defend our territory. But largely those contending issues should be just resolved with diplomatically and politically. I don't think any military mean also will be just automatically interpreted into some of new influence over any solutions of such a disputed territory. But the problem is building a strong navy also will help a lot, just deterring any potential escalation of the conflict of that territory. If there is any Chinese neighbor which would like to just define China's territory with the military means, or they also will, let's say, recklessly handle such a disputed territory issue, then China's more powerful and stronger naval capability also will serve a very credible, let's say, deterrence. Then we can also be able to prevent from any escalation of a military conflict. So that also has some of, we say, inherent link between China's stronger naval capability and China's resolve of seeking for a diplomatic and a peaceful solution.
Okay, concerning the aircraft carrier issue, we were just talking about it, and there were confirmation, let's say, by military officials that China will build an aircraft carrier. We also review some results of internet survey. Most people say China will have a aircraft carrier sometime soon. Do you share their views? What do you think this will mean for China to have its own aircraft carrier?
First, yes, I do share those views. The second is, I think that building an aircraft carrier is a very important, formidable component of China's naval capability. If we'd like to develop the capability to defend China's maritime security, then we can also, just as I say, very credibly just raise China's deterrent capability and also preventing from any, the military challenges, if it's possible. Then aircraft carrier is a very necessary tool for us to just solidify, we say, our resolve for peace, and also just very firmly reinforce the Chinese, capability to defend our security. But aircraft carriers build up is also very complicated issue. It's not just we say technologically feasible or not. It's just also some sort of, we say, strategic issues. It also will inevitably produce some of the impacts to the regional security. So that's why, on the one hand, I'm very favorable to China's speedy build-up of the aircraft carrier. On the other hand, I don't think any, we say, very sanguine feeling about, the aircraft carrier also will help, very helpful. So that's why we have to just make a combination of technologically feasible build-up of aircraft carrier, but furthermore, we also would like to just emphasize China's peaceful rise, responsibility, and also just expand China's, such a international responsibility carried, world mission.
Thank you, Professor Feng. I think your view is actually shared by the great majority of the Chinese people, as have been demonstrated by the results from the internet survey.